weekly live answering your questions. Again, apologies for the delay this week. It's been a crazy week for both Beck and I. I'm just going to prop this up a little more so my camera's not shaking, but we did get some really interesting questions this week, so I want to go through those. The first one was about pets and babies, and one of the wonderful ladies who wrote in was saying to us that her GP recommended that she not pick up the poo from her puppy while she was pregnant. Now, she was asking us why, and to be honest, we didn't really know. So what we did was reach out to one of Beck's wonderful friends who's a vet and asked her for just some general advice. Now, keeping in mind this is general advice, and for more specific advice for you, ask your GP, ask your health professional. So she said that the reason for this, and it's more pertaining to cats than dogs, but there's a bacteria or a parasite called toxoplasmosis, and that can be quite dangerous for the fetus. So she said general advice is not to get a kitten whilst pregnant because cats are known carriers of this one. Now, she said a lot of us have been exposed to this one over our lives if we've been around animals. So you can test if you have been exposed to it before pregnancy, but best to do your best to avoid it whilst pregnant. So some general advice around that is one, you can avoid picking up animal poo. So that's a good one to shuffle over to your partner for the duration of pregnancy. But if you can't do that, if it's just you, or if you've got to do it, just make sure you're picking up the poo really regularly from your animals. Never feed the pets raw meat. Now, I thought this was a really, really great point because parasites can live in the meat, and so it's not so much the pets eating the meat, it's when it comes out again in their feces. So always feed your pets cooked meat whilst pregnant. Treat your pets with for fleas and with an all worker, including tapeworm. I think that's a pretty general one for pet owners. Never let your pets sleep in the bed, which can be a tricky one for some of our pet owners out there, but a really important one. And later stages of pregnancy, there might be you might want the room for yourself. So no pets in the bed whilst pregnant. Never allow your pet to lick your face, which is just a general advice usually anyway. Regularly wash your pet's bedding and regularly vacuum as well. So all of this advice is around making sure that you're regularly clearing out and making sure that you don't have any parasites able to transfer from your pet to yourself. So general advice, ask your healthcare professional if you've got further questions. I also did a little Google and I read a few interesting articles on information around pets and pregnancy. Sorry, my arm's getting a little tired here, just going to move this around. And there's some really great advice out there, around how to train your pet, simple ways to prepare your pet for bringing baby home. Like, for example, they said when you've got Bub in the hospital, getting someone to take home an item of clothing that Bub's already worn so that your pet can smell it and get familiar with their smell. So I thought that was just a really great general tip for the pet owners out there when you're bringing home your new baby. Now, the second thing we wanted to cover today was a quick question on plagiocephaly or flat head. So a lot of us might have heard about this, and this is more in relation to babies and newborns. So you might have seen our Instagram post recently. We did one on the sutures of the skull. Now, flat head is when you get, with your little newborn, you get a flat spot at the back of their head, and it's called typically, one of the common diagnoses for it is deformational plagiocephaly. However, make sure you're always getting this checked by a qualified health professional, including, chiropractors trained in pediatric care, get your GP to check it, your child health nurse, get a qualified health professional to check this, because there are lots of other causes for your baby to develop a little flat spot on the side of the head, and we want to make sure that it is not a serious cause. So there's other causes, like one called craniosynostosis, which is where the sutures confused too early, and we want to be double checking and making sure that that's not the case. Now, once we've made the diagnosis of deformational plagiocephaly, we can then proceed to some treatment and to giving you some advice. There's lots of things that can be done, but again, seek individual care for you and your bub, and definitely get help, because deformational plagiocephaly, or that flat head, used to be seen as just a cosmetic fault or problem, but now we know that it's not. There's lots of great research showing that it can lead to developmental delay and even learning difficulties down the track. So seek advice from your health professional, get your baby checked, and we will give you individual advice regarding your baby. So that's all for today. I hope that's answered your questions. Send in your ones for next week and stay tuned on our socials, because today and tomorrow we have some very exciting bits and pieces coming up that you will want to be well aware of. So thanks for watching, guys. See you next week.